And we're live. Dun, dun, dun. Your turn to start the intro.
I'm trying to think of something,
Witty.
dramatic or special or memorable.
I got nothing.
Yeah, nothing. Okay, so hi everybody. Welcome back to Mind Castle. That would have been if we would have had some kind of dramatic intro. It would have fit. Okay, yeah. We just made we just made pour over coffee because my wife gave me a pour over system for my birthday. I'm very happy about it. It will ruin coffee for you forever. So it's just, as Peter McKinnon says, once you learn pour over, it's bittersweet. I mean, the bitter part is all the coffee you're not going to be drinking anymore. The sweet part is that pour over is awesome. So it's bittersweet only in that way. It basically ruins coffee forever for you. So get a pour over. It's amazing because that's what we're drinking right now. If we would have had a dramatic intro, it would have been a nice piece of contrast to what we're going to be doing this episode on.
Which is?
This episode is about the mundane because I think people probably see us on the internet, obviously, if they're listening to this podcast, and they go to our websites and they see our YouTube channels and all the things. And they're probably like, wow, they must have amazing lives because they're always traveling or jumping out of airplanes or having their friends over and making sushi or all the things that, make up social media life. And so on this podcast, we wanted to break down actually what does a week look like. We are pretty busy. We get a lot of stuff done, I guess you could say, or kind of. It feels, in a given week, it feels like a lot happens. But a lot of it's actually really mundane. Like from the outside, it could look adventurous, but that's not really what we're looking at here. So we're going to just unpack a little bit what that looks like, and just as a bit of an episode, lifting up the mundane. Mundane is actually good. It's not bad. And I think, especially with the advent of social media and YouTube and things, it's like everybody's trying to one up everybody else by doing more extreme things or more extreme adventures. And it's like, okay, that's actually not what makes life meaningful. That gives a thrill, but that's not really the point. So that's what this episode is about.
I have a perfect quote for this.
Oh, sweet. And what book is this?
The Art of Impossible. And he has a whole chapter on grit, which is one of the key ingredients of accomplishing the impossible. So what I want to add to this, what Reagan just said, is oftentimes the glamorous, the elaborate, the fun, exciting adventures you see is, I don't know, 1% of our lives, or of just people in general. Like, okay, maybe not everybody, but in reality, the things that you see on social media, it really just boils down to a checklist. Like, that's one of the main things he covers in this book when he's like, when you're pursuing the impossible, accomplishing something that you've never done before, lowercase I, impossible, or a large case I, which would be something that has never been done before. Impossible is a checklist. Is all it is. Like, he was like talking about one of his friends who, like, the guy that invented the rocket that could return back to Earth, after going into orbit.
You mean the SpaceX rocket that self-lands itself?
Yeah. He knows the guy that designed it.
That's one of the great engineering feats of the last 15 years.
And he's like, he's like, that impossible. He's like, here's what it looked like. He got up, he made some coffee. He typed on his laptop for a while. He caught some people. Then he went to a meeting. Then he came back, typed on his laptop a little bit more. That was his day.
Okay, that's a good point.
So anyway, here's the quote that I think sums this up really well. He says, quite often, passion feels like frustration on the inside and looks like obsession on the outside. And I think that is so true.
Oh, that's so good.
Because when you see someone, it's like, wow, they're like, they're just obsessed. They're going after it. They're crushing it. And in reality, they are struggling, and it is a fight. They're
wore out. Yeah.
It's a long uphill battle, and that's kind of what we're trying to illuminate, I guess, with this episode.
So my life is pretty public. Like, if you look, so we've got this podcast, I've got my website, I have a YouTube channel, I have a podcast with my friend Jaron, that it's called The Books We Read. Shameless plug down below.
What's it about?
Yeah, it's shocker. It's about the books we read, and it's really fun. It's a good time. I've got I host and also started and lead the Anabaptist Perspectives. Really, it's not just a podcast anymore. It's kind of like a whole media thing. So we put out all kinds of stuff, videos and podcasts and all those things. It's a lot of fun, but it's a lot of work. And then I'm also involved in a humanitarian aid organization as well. So from the outside looking in, there is so many different things that intersect across my life. So it could look pretty glamorous, but the reality is it's not just me. So like Anabaptist Perspectives, let's use that for example. We're reaching, a couple thousand people each week see our stuff somewhere on the internet, podcast, video, Facebook, whatever. And it could be like, wow, look at what Reagan's doing. And the reality is there's like a team of 15 people. So I just happen to be the part that people see, but it's not that I'm working any harder than anybody else on the team. If anything, some of them are working even harder than I am. So it can look, because you're seeing these finished products, it can look like, oh, he must be super busy and super important. And it's like, not really. Like, we have a really good team that's making all these things happen. None of it's happening just by myself alone. Even like this podcast, we're doing it together. Like, you handle a lot of the editing and things. Same with the Books We Read podcast. It's not just me. So I think otherwise, well, okay, I have people contact me for various reasons about various things. And they're like, oh, I'm really sorry to take your time. I know you're like super busy and stuff, because that's what they see on the internet. And I don't blame it, whatever. But I'm like, no. Like, it's all good. Like, I have time. Like, I don't want to be so busy that I can't answer your phone call. Like, that's terrible. That I would be a bad human if I was that way. So I think that's the biggest thing I want to put out there. And I could see the same happening for you too, because you're traveling, you're putting out videos pretty consistently, you're involved in a lot of things. People looking at that, it's just like, man, he just is so productive all the time. It's like, well, okay, yeah, but we got a lot of people helping us out.
Yeah.
It's not just me.
Often, like for you with AP and some of these other organizations, you're kind of like the face.
To clarify,
of it.
AP is not the Associated Press. It's the Anabaptist Perspectives.
Yeah.
It's super annoying that
saying
it's the same
Anabaptist Perspectives is a little bit of a tongue twister.
It's
so we've abbreviated it
to AP. And I'm sure the Associated Press is really mad at us and all that. So yeah.
It depends if you're kind of the face of everything. That I see what you're saying for sure. Cool. So let's dive into it. Let's break down kind of our weeks, I guess.
So Monday morning, what time you get up?
Monday morning, it depends what time I go to bed.
Okay, that's a problem.
I either get up at 5:55 or 6:30.
Okay, that's not that bad of a range though. It's actually reasonable.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So like I kind of set a goal for myself, not a goal, a standard for myself. You don't get your goals, you get your standards. Fun little quote I like. But one of my standards is that I really try my hardest to get up before 7. And maybe this comes back to some stuff that I was influenced by hustle culture, but there is something about starting your day before the majority of people wake up, or starting your day before the sun gets up. Like, just like there's something about it. It just feels good to like accomplish that, to beat your day a little bit, to wake up before your day does. So I don't know. There's that aspect of it. But yeah, that's when I wake up. What time do you wake up?
It varies.
Figured.
Unfortunately. I'm trying to get it consistent. So if I were to call it consistent, it'd be 7-ish. But that'll vary, because often I have early morning meetings that I have to be on that start at 7. So then you're bumping it up to like 6 or whatever. But then sometimes it'll go, sometimes it'll be more like 8. So it varies a lot, which isn't as good for your health. You do need to have a consistent, that you get up, including weekends. You should have same wake up time, generally speaking. So yeah, that's kind of how it is. My days do vary enough. So it's a little hard to set a schedule sometimes.
Yeah,
kind of
see that.
But that's the one not really downside, but that is one of the aspects of working with a team. You're working around so many other people's schedules.
Yeah.
So it can get complicated. Like, we're trying to plan a meeting yesterday evening, and well, the only option is early morning on this day or whatever. It's like, I don't really want to fit that in. I like to keep my mornings empty, but you got to work with it. So it can vary a lot.
Well, how much sleep do you normally get?
Always 8, usually more like 8.5, sometimes even 9.
Okay. How much? So time asleep versus time in bed. What would like?
I fall asleep like instantly.
Okay.
And then don't wake up.
Gotcha.
Ever. I just like sleep.
You should really get a sleep tracker and just test it for like 1 week.
I should.
I bet you get less than you think.
I probably do. I'm not consciously aware of it, so it's not like I'm have trouble falling asleep.
But you're asleep-ish for around 8 to 9 hours probably.
I mean, I pass out. Like, I lay down in 3 minutes, I'm out. So
nice.
Yeah, always.
Same.
Yeah, it's I don't know why. It's just always been that way. It's kind of nice.
Yeah. I usually get around 7 to 8. Right between there. Never less than 7. If I get less than 7,
bad things.
Yeah.
Bad things. Which is another tip. for everybody, don't get less than, really, it shouldn't be less than 8, ideally, for your health and stuff.
But not more than 9.
Not more than, well, I mean, it depends, but yeah.
Anyway, that's morning. Okay, so for me, my week tends to stay somewhat similar in like what I do throughout the week, like day by day. So for me, Monday is, I call it script writing day. So I wake up, Monday is the day where I write my video scripts for that week. Preferably, I'm playing around with writing 2 video scripts and like kind of combining my efforts. So like Monday is just like write. So I usually in the mornings I will my creativity isn't as strong in the early mornings. So I'll usually do some kind of heavy lifting stuff, like maybe I'll do some editing for Anabaptist Perspectives, or I'll edit Mind Castle Podcast, or I'll do something that it allows me to wake up. I don't have to be like creativity is it takes a little bit of time to get up and running sometimes. But then usually mid-morning to afternoon, I'll do a incubation period where I decide, okay, from now until lunch, I'm going to come up with an idea. I'm going to write it, and I'm going to at least get it down. And then I try to do something that allows my mind to work and be like doing something, but doesn't overtax it. So I'll do kind of mundane tasks. So things like cleaning or organizing or doing my laundry or things like that. That is like, it keeps my hands busy, keeps me doing stuff, but my mind is not actively taking in information. So it allows my mind to just like pop ideas around and just bounce ideas and just like, okay, what if we did this or what if we did that? And I have nothing but time, or I try to set aside nothing but time so that I can like do that. I have time to work on that. After I come up with a video idea, I usually have a change in location. So I'll usually like migrate around the house, go to a coffee shop, go outside, set up my hammock, something like that. And then I spend a couple hours writing that video script, working out all the details. My video scripts are very detailed. It's basically word for word.
Whoa.
You
script, way more detailed than I do.
Yeah. Well, see, it saves me in the long run though, because then I script out my B-roll, everything. So like when everything refers back to that. So when I'm editing, I have Notion open beside it, and I'm like, oh man, like what was I thinking? That never happens to me anymore because I have detailed of like, here's what I'm picturing. Here's the mood I want. Here's the sound I want. Here's all of that is there.
So pro tip then for everybody listening, learn typing skills.
Yeah.
Seriously, get a Skillshare free trial and take Ali Abdal's like typing course or whatever. Because learning to type fast, I mean, it probably saves you hours a day.
Oh my word.
I mean, it's got to. If you're scripting to that level, wow. I would actually credit that as one of the key, this sounds weird, one of the key pieces of my success has been I can just bust out long emails to people. Like I helped start a couple organizations. You need to be very comfortable with articulating what you're trying to do and put it in a really nice email, but quickly, because you can't spend your whole life doing this, and send it to important people that you want involved. And I did that. I still do that like all the time. And that, I don't think I'd be half as far along in life otherwise. So go learn to type, everybody.
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, as in, even if you know, like go learn more.
Yeah. Get above the average.
Definitely get above the average.
Yeah.
It'll change your life, because then you're just like, oh yeah, it's like super easy for me to cold email this guy and it takes me 3 minutes.
Right.
And it like turns into a partnership or something.
Exactly.
And it literally happens to me like all the time.
Yeah.
Because
Same.
of what I do.
Yeah.
And stuff.
I used to be really frustrated with you because you would send me these long WhatsApp messages.
Yes, and they're all perfectly capitalized and the grammar's right and no misspellings and everything's perfect, because if you're going to do it.
I was on the road a lot of times with Hauling Barns, and so I'm like sending you voice messages back.
Too bad.
But now that I can do this, like I type a lot more because I don't haul as Barnes as much. Now, I see the benefit of that. I can like
do you know why I do that?
Well, yeah, because you have record of it.
You have a written record.
So important.
So written record with timestamps, fully searchable.
Yeah.
That's why as much as you can do in life, do it text-based.
Yeah.
That's why I'm not a huge fan of meetings unless you're taking really good minutes and have a really good agenda.
Yep.
Meetings can be you have to be really careful, because then people can come out of a meeting with different perceptions of what was decided on.
Oh, yeah.
You know, you got to write that thing down and say, this is what we're doing. We're all agreed. Okay, great. And now you have a record of it. That's fully searchable and archived forever, which is, now we're getting way off in
side
the weeds.
topic.
Yeah, side.
But so that is, I usually write about, my scripts are usually about 1,000 words.
Dude, 1,000 words.
So I write
Wait,
1,000 to 2,000 words every
Are
Monday.
these turning into newsletters and going on your website? Because that's an enormous
I'm
amount
in
of
the
work.
process of hiring someone to do that.
Okay, that's probably smart. That's a
Yeah.
lot of work, man.
Yeah.
So that's what you do. That would be amazing to have a whole day like that to work on scripts. I'd never have that.
I batch
Wow.
hardcore on that. Monday is probably the most difficult day for me creatively.
Well, yeah, because it's such a brain.
Oh my
brain
word,
load,
yeah. It's so hard to stay.
Well, wait, was that why you were at the coffee shop Monday and I was in
Yeah.
there and we're like, hey, what are you doing here? You know,
Yep.
you just like showed up.
Pretty much.
I was not working on scripts that day.
You looked deep in work.
I
I was
was-
taking
I was
book
doing
notes
emails.
and writing video scripts that day.
That's why you covered the table with books.
Yeah.
And like it was like Austin was taking over the coffee shop.
I was
he
there.
Was in. He was in deep. He had his Bose headphones on and was like, I don't
Don't
know
talk
the
to
world
me.
is out. I don't even know if there's a world out there right now. But no,
Yeah.
like that's what you got to do though. So I think it should, to clarify, I don't know who all listens to our podcast. It'd be interesting to know what kind of industries they're in. Austin and I tend to work a lot more in what you would call the knowledge sector. Knowledge-based knowledge work type. And it's just a whole different animal of work.
Oh my
like
word,
if,
yeah.
if you're built, okay, so I got a lot of friends who do construction, which is awesome because building stuff is really important. As Elon Musk says, if nobody builds stuff, we run out of stuff.
Yeah.
So all you people out there building houses and making things, you are awesome, and we need more of you. I'm not really good at it at all. Like I can't build a tree fort. I can't build a nothing. It's terrible. I have no skills in that area.
Okay, to be fair, we did build a really awesome treehouse.
Okay, that is a good point. Our
I mean,
tree
that
house
thing
was pretty awesome.
was like 3 stories tall.
It was 3 stories tall. Yeah.
Okay, side story.
Side
Continue.
note: we need to tell them the story of our
We
treehouse
do.
someday. Wow, that is a
That
story.
should be our next episode.
Dude, treehouse time.
Oh, let's do it.
Okay, yeah,
All
that's
right,
a good
continue,
idea.
Though. You were talking about the knowledge
Subscribe
sector.
for that podcast about our treehouse days. Anyways, but yeah, so knowledge work though is very different because if you're trying to say fix a car or build a house, the more hours you put in, the more you get done. Obviously, like I mean, it's you're building things, so like
Yeah.
you have to pound the nails in and like do the thing. If you're doing knowledge work, that is not necessarily true. The correlation between time and how much you get done is not linear at all.
No.
And that is really frustrating, like incredibly
Yeah.
so, because if you are a little off one day, you'll put in just as many hours and you'll get a third as much done. And it is so annoying. So that's why, like you do, go to a coffee shop for the afternoon just to break up the space. It like kind of gets you out of yourself a little bit,
Yeah.
interact with people in a different way. Insanely higher levels of stuff getting done.
Oh, yeah.
Whereas back when you were hauling mini barns, I mean, it wouldn't have mattered. Like
Right.
if you need to haul more barns to get more done, you just start a little.
You start earlier and go later. Yeah.
You just do it.
Yeah.
Which it's not that one's harder or better than the other. It's just really important, and it's taken me a long time to figure that out.
Yeah.
And one of the things you're saying with your Mondays, how you're batching certain tasks, that's really important. I'm trying to do more of that, but I'm not particularly good at it.
It is. I will say those, like Monday, I am shot.
Well, see, you also have more control of your schedule. So if you were
Yeah, I
working
do.
with a production team, you wouldn't.
Right. Yeah.
Which is really frustrating. So like I don't have that, unfortunately. But not unfortunately. My teams are awesome. I got a bunch of people I work with that are amazing. So it's all good.
Yeah.
But it does constrain you because you're working around everybody else's schedules
Right.
as well. So
the
man, word for word, I'm still stuck on that. That is
I can show you my
insane.
scripts if you want.
Wow.
Like I send them to my editor then. And so it's great for him because he can edit my B-roll, he can edit my voiceover. Everything is color coded, laid out clearly as day. Like he knows exactly where it goes.
You got to turn that into like ebook or
Yeah.
something. Turn it into
But
an ebook.
like-
Put it out there. People would read it. I'd read it.
Yeah. Honestly, I love writing. Like I'm actually, someday I'd love to write a book just because I thoroughly enjoy the process.
Not
of-
someday. You already have.
Yeah. Well, okay. I kind of already have.
No, you literally have. If you're scripting to that level, all you'd have to do is piece it together.
I would
take-
have about a 70,000 word.
Oh, that's plenty. Yeah, that would be. It would take a lot of editing to. You would need to pare it down because what you do in video is a little different than written.
Right.
And making it all connect would take some time.
Yeah.
That's incredible. Wow.
That is kind of weird. I never thought about it quite like that.
Oh, you've totally written a book already.
Cool.
Well, okay, hold on. What is the average? Man, guys, we are way off in the weeds, but
Yeah.
just hang with us here. How many words?
We're 21
are in
minutes
the
in and we're still on Monday.
average book? Yeah, exactly. Hey
Of
guys,
Austin.
this could be a while. All right, average. Hold on.
It's 75,000.
What? No, you're not right. You are wrong. There is no way.
It's 75,000. 75,000 words is the average length of a book. About a 250 page book.
All right. So a novel is considered 50,000 to 110,000.
Right. But a nonfiction.
This is annoying. Hold on. Depends on who you ask.
Well, yeah. If you're reading, Tribe of Mentors.
Okay, here we go. Oh, never mind. I lied. Just wait. It's anywhere from it can be in like the 80,000 range.
Yeah. Anyway, back to Monday.
Yeah, sorry about that.
Monday is one of the most frustrating days that I have, honestly, because it is grueling work. You're literally sitting there staring at a screen, trying to force creativity to come.
So I have a suggestion for you.
It is. I actually do a lot of it on pen and paper now.
I was about to say,
'Cause
Neil Stephenson, an extremely accomplished novelist who writes like 900-page novels, does it pen and paper.
Yeah.
The whole thing.
Because it, like, seriously, you got to have a change in pace somehow. Otherwise, I go crazy. And since
it's really good. Pen and paper is actually really good. C.S. Lewis has some stuff on that. Like he would, obviously, because he was a long time ago, but he would do it pen and paper, but he would use the kind of pens that like you kind of had to let the ink dry slightly.
Oh.
Like you couldn't just like write. He actually intentionally did it that way. Because he said he wanted to give himself space to contemplate each and every line. He would write 5 words, stop for a second, write a little more, stop. And you look at his writing and you're just like, oh my goodness, this guy is a genius, which he was. But that was part of his secret sauce.
Yeah.
Like read his autobiography. It's fascinating. He intentionally made himself go really slow.
Yeah.
Because he wanted to really play with the words in his mind and get it just like, and not to say he never revised. Obviously, you go through multiple drafts and stuff. Mm-hmm. Man, we're getting in the weeds. Man,
yeah,
goodness.
this is good stuff though.
So
this is not going to be a 5-part series, in case you're wondering.
Oh, one part for each day? Oh.
No, we're not. No,
it's going to be a 7-part series.
Yeah. But back to the whole like frustration and passion thing. People like they see that. They see me like, it's the stereotypical, grinding it out, right. And it is awful. Like I love it, but it can be very frustrating at times because sometimes ideas are just not coming and you're like, I have 2 hours, but I'm going to decide to take an hour and 15 minutes to go for a hike or a walk because I know that is the only thing that's going to get me through this block, or else I will not have ideas. And I'm going to have a bogus script and I'm going to be frustrated making the video and I'm going to be frustrated editing it and it's not going to come together and the thumbnail is going to look weird. And it's like, I just know, like, so it can be very frustrating. And the end of the day, I'm done. Like I'm so drained. And it's good because usually we play volleyball with some of the community guys here in town Monday evenings. And so it's great. So I get the mental aspect of it, but then I get just to kind of de-stress, unwind, go hit some volleyballs around and just have a good time.
Have you played with going into nature to reset your brain?
Yeah, a little bit.
That's why
working my hammock
so
is awesome.
I just want everybody to note the statement he just made. Working in his hammock.
Yeah.
Like, you kind of arrived when you get to say that.
It'd be great if I was getting paid. I mean, that'd be even better.
Yes, it would.
But, most businesses don't make money or aren't profitable for a number of years. So
so Austin's in the building.
Yeah,
he's only 1 year into this thing, so everybody give him grace. But go subscribe to him on YouTube because the more people that follow him there, the more quickly you start actually making income off of it. Right now, it's in that phase, building the business out, building the brand and stuff. So totally. Working in your hammock is a great idea. Like, so going into nature resets our brains in a way at an extremely deep core level that is just now starting to be understood by science.
Yeah, it's fascinating.
It's really, really powerful. So that and physical activity. So you're saying the volleyball thing, but I would recommend what I do. That is, I take my fidget spinner and I go outside. My fidget spinner is my chainsaw, and I go whack down some trees. Like there's something, it's physical. You're out in nature, and you have to be focused in on it. You can't be listening to an audiobook or something at the same time. Like you're just in it, and you're in the woods, and it's wonderful. I'm not the only person who's done that. We did a podcast on that couple episodes ago about the
Prime Minister.
The Prime Minister of England, but I can't remember his name. Anyways, who did the same thing? Like he would cut down trees, but with an axe, and he would just go out there for hours and just whack down trees because it helped him think. Really,
that's
important.
really cool.
Anyways,
I actually really enjoy having things like that. Like go mow the yard, go weed eat, like go do this or that. Like, oh, it's gonna take an hour. Perfect. Like even better. Like it's gonna take an hour to go do this thing. That's gonna like make me like hot and sweaty or whatever because it's summer. Like that's awesome because it's like it breaks me up, like my attention. I can focus on something else. I can let my creativity sit there and like come up with ideas, and then I can come back to it. Yeah. So stuff like that's actually really good. So yeah, anyway, that's me. I Monday right till probably like 6 p.m. ish. I usually try not to work any later than that because I need a life. But
Important.
yeah, so that's my Monday. What does your Monday look like?
My Monday is catch up from the weekend.
Okay.
So because I work with, so the two organizations I'm in are decent in size, not huge. I don't want to, be a haughty or anything, but yeah, there's a lot happening. So over the weekend,
Right.
stuff will happen. I'll have loads of messages and emails. So typically Monday morning is just catching up on all the messages.
Gotcha.
I exchange, man, probably hundreds of emails and messages in a day.
Wow.
Depending on what kind of day it
Right,
is.
yeah.
But when you have 100 people or whatever that need stuff from you, so that can definitely, that'll wear you out. But that's a typical Monday, and I'll have a meeting. Usually, I have a meeting, at least one every Monday as well, with one of the teams. Tuesday is more of the same. There'll be a meeting or two typically in there. Just remote meetings. I work remote generally. Wednesdays though tend to be empty. Like I don't have meetings and calls, and I intentionally have it that way.
Okay.
So that Wednesdays I can do what I call more of that deep work. Like,
Oh, yeah.
hey, we have this project for the organization that needs done, and I need to spend 4 hours just writing this newsletter that's going to go out to all our people, and it has to be just perfect, and it has to look just so. Like it'll be that kind of work.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Yeah. So a lot of what I'm doing is more administrative, also creative, but not to the level of you. Like I'm not writing original scripts typically. I mean, maybe I will a little bit, but it's more of connecting some, technical IT thing that our guys are doing, and they're programming this thing, and it needs to talk to this person over here, and I have to, put the pieces together and make everybody's things work, and so it's that kind of stuff. Which
I gotcha.
It's kind of fun.
A little more big picture, maybe.
Oh yeah,
Gotcha.
yeah, a lot of big picture. So yeah, I mean, typical week just follows that schedule.
Monday,
lots of meetings, lots of messages, lots of emails,
and then Wednesday is a little bit more the deep dive,
It's supposed
big
to be.
picture.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
it's supposed to be.
Where in all of this is like time to read and like book notes, website, like personal brand stuff? Where does all that stuff fall in?
I am really slacking on the personal brand right now, actually, like majorly so, and I need to get back into it. So I haven't worked on my personal brand hardly at all. I'm editing a video right now for like the first time in a long time. Austin was helping me with that before we started.
That was fun.
That was really fun. Look for that coming out soon, maybe. I hope. I don't know. We'll see. So personal brand, I idealize a few hours a week, but typically doesn't happen. I haven't done book notes in forever. For example, like I got a pile of books that need notes taken on them.
Same.
Kind of hate it. It doesn't take that long. It's just a matter of sitting down and doing it. Yeah, I hate it. Anyways, I'll often do your thing where I'll go to a coffee shop. I try to do that at least once a week, which financially, your coffee is getting expensive, y'all. Man, inflation, and gas is $4 a gallon, but it's totally worth it because it gets me in a different space. If you just sit in your, in my office, like every day, all day, you just go nuts.
Yeah.
Even though this office is great, but still.
But just having location, like you can go back to that, your like reading room, you can go into the kitchen and work on the dining room table, or you can like sit on your comfortable chair there. You can do standing down. Like that accessibility is awesome. I don't feel like I have that quite as much.
Yeah, but you have an entire basement that you've turned into.
But
like
it is
your
not
workspace.
comfortable. You can't
We
just
can
lay on
fix
the
that.
floor and like read.
We are going to fix. Okay, we'll have to end this podcast and fix that. I'll get you some cushy pillows to lay on or something.
Sweet. Okay, so what else about?
But you asked where reading fits in. I have this weird thing where I just don't eat meals really. So
I should try that.
it really frees up your life, man. Like
Hey.
I'll be in I'll do this intentionally. I'll be in a meeting like eating breakfast on purpose, and breakfast is like, an egg and, maybe some granola or something. Like I keep it really minimal, saving time, man. Like, instead of like blocking out big chunks of time for 3 full meals a day, I don't need that. So I do 2 meals a day and I keep them light and simple and kind of on the go. That frees up a lot of time that I put into reading or something else.
Smart.
And usually the first hour of the day, phone is on silent and I'm reading.
Gotcha.
It's kind of my flow. So it's amazing. People are like, how do you read so much? I'm like, actually, I really don't feel like I read that much. I really don't. But it's where you block out a chunk of time and really block it out and don't get distracted. And you'll shock yourself how much you'll read in a year.
Yeah.
That's a daily routine that doesn't give at all.
An hour every morning.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes it's not a full hour, like especially if I'm traveling, but
Gotcha.
always.
Now, is that like personal reading or is that like devotions or like
Everything.
All of the
Sometimes
above?
it's for work, sometimes because like I teach classes on various things. So like I'll be reading stuff that I think may be class material.
Yeah.
So like, but it's fun. So
Yeah.
it actually counts as part of the job, which is kind of awesome. Sometimes
Wow, that's
it counts
pretty cool.
as part of the job.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. It's pretty awesome. So that's a typical week. But then you throw in, I travel a ton, that schedule, but on the other side of the world or on an airplane or, so you start running, you start running into that.
Yeah.
Also, we host this or do things like these podcasts and things. We'll do that every, a few times a month. And then of course, Anabaptist Perspectives. So that's really fun. I can get, meet new people, interview them and stuff. So you throw those in, but those are more sporadic. They're not a week to week thing.
Yeah.
Typically. The week to week is very boring. I actually think I'm going to make a video about this.
My boring week.
I'm trying to, let me see. What is it? I actually started on a script. You guys let me know if this is a bad idea. Okay. So please tell me if it's a bad idea. But the script is something like why my life is actually boring, like for real boring. and just literally like do a video showing my normal day. And it would be so boring. Like it
like
would,
hours of you just like
yeah,
sitting
like
there.
I'm just like at my desk grinding away. I mean, I don't know. It was just kind of, that's life. But if you look at my internet stuff, hopefully people know it's a highlight reel. I'm trying to make stuff that's valuable and helps people, but those things inherently have to be interesting, obviously, or it's not going to be that helpful. And people won't watch it. So the stuff I put out there is, interesting, dynamic. Wow, that's good. That's neat. But my whole life isn't that way. Like that's the stuff I choose to share because I think it might help somebody. But that's about it, so to speak.
I'm just over here solving your Rubik's Cube.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So that's another thing I throw into my week is I'm always trying to learn something new. So the latest thing is I went on Amazon, bought a Rubik's Cube, and I'm going to learn how to solve Rubik's Cubes. I've solved it a few times, but I can't remember all the algorithms, so I keep getting stuck. So Austin is fixing that. Let's see if you still remember the algorithms.
Oh, I do.
Is he going to solve it? Will he solve it? He's got a ways to go yet.
Getting there.
So yeah, I'm always throwing in stuff like that has nothing to do with my regular life, like work wise, and then like learning Rubik's Cube, for example. Are you about to? It's about to.
It's not working.
You're doing it wrong, man. You forgot to solve for the yellow cross.
I don't do it that way.
Well, that's your problem, bro. No. You have to solve the yellow cross first. Yeah, you do.
Nope. 2 moves. 1 move and.
Okay, you don't have to solve the yellow cross, but it takes a lot longer, okay?
Okay, anyway.
So yeah, we're learning Rubik's Cube on the side.
Yeah. So like personal development, learning new things.
Yeah, or
reading.
just for fun.
Yeah, gotcha. Cool.
It's just, we're always trying random stuff. We have people over a lot, we just odds and ends. But it's life. Life could look really boring from the outside.
Like if someone followed you around for a day, they would be bored out of their mind probably.
I mean, not like completely bored out of their mind, but it'd just be like, that's kind of lame.
That's it?
Yeah, that's it. This is that great dude that's like all over the world on YouTube. Yeah, right. I mean, really, like, if you look at my YouTube channel, sure, but then if you look at the release dates on those things, it's like every couple of months. So it's not like sure. I do get to travel more than most though, so I have an amazing life in that way. Like, let's see, how many times I've been out of country this year? I've been to like 6 countries this year.
Wow.
So it is pretty sweet.
My week is a little bit more structured than that.
Mine's insanely structured. Yeah, like my calendar is stupid full.
Okay. I mean, as in like I do the same things almost every day of the week.
Oh, like that. Yeah. See, mine is because I'm working with big teams and organizations and stuff. Like my calendar is just chock full of responsibilities for that, and it drives me nuts. I do not like that. I wish I had a little more flexibility to do deep work and actually like, hey, I want to edit a video. I actually can. Yeah, I don't have that. Gotcha. So that is frustrating. So if anybody's following me on YouTube, probably because nobody is, but if you are, there's not a whole lot going on that front because you can't find the time to edit.
Yeah, editing takes time. So anyway, I covered my Monday. Tuesday is usually when I haul mini barns. So I'm now in charge of scheduling my own loads and hauling them. I have sufficiently condensed it down to haul only 1 day a week at this point. So I usually make that a very full day. So I usually haul 5 or 6 buildings in that day. It's usually like a 10 or 12 hour day. And that's enough to keep it's enough that I can survive. that amount usually covers my hobbies and personal needs.
Because back to what we were saying before, he's still building this YouTube thing,
right. So I don't really make money elsewhere as much. So there's that. So that's usually Tuesday. And then Wednesday is usually video recording day. And this is shooting every stitch of video that I need. So this is shooting all of the interviews, which actually doesn't take that long, maybe an hour or 2 hours. Not 2 hours, an hour. To shoot all of the like talking head sections where I'm talking to the camera.
Oh, you called them interviews. You mean
A-roll, that sort of thing. So then I do that, usually not in the morning.
Wait, why not?
Because I am like not as awake.
You're not a morning person.
It depends I can do deep hard work in the mornings, but like my presentation is not nearly as smooth.
Gotcha.
So there's that.
That makes sense.
So then the rest of the day I record all of my B-roll, all of the like storytelling aspect of the video. That takes me like 2 hours probably at least. There's a lot of that. And so part of the day might be sitting down, okay, how do I want to illustrate this? This script talks about this, thing that I was learning. How do I want to illustrate that? How do I want to show that to my audience? And so a lot of the time is spent in doing that. I didn't really mention this, but part of writing my scripts is, writing out what my thumbnail is, writing out all of my titles that I want to put in, writing out all the B-roll and all of the A-roll and like cinematic and all of that stuff. So then Wednesday I film all of that. And if I have time, I will begin the editing process. So usually I do 2 videos in one day. I usually send one to my editor so he can chew on that for a while I currently edit the other one. Sometimes I'll edit that video in the evenings. Other times I will just stop work at like 2 if I get everything done and just like spend the rest of the time taking book notes, reading, going on a hike. Usually I hang out with people, hang out with friends. So I really, really like that aspect of the freedom to do that if I want. It's Wednesday. Thursday is the grind, almost as bad as writing scripts. It is a full day of editing. We're talking like 6 hours of editing, at least. So that day is exhausting. I might be talking with my editor at that point, being like, okay, do this, do that as you work on the video. But the whole process of me, like I've got a whole like checklist of everything I do when I edit a video. And I set unbelievably strict deadlines on myself because editing is a time fill. Like there's always something you can do on an edit. You can always, like I said in one of my videos, it's easier to edit a video for 40 hours than it is for 10 hours. And because there's always something you can add. Let me check out this new thing. Let me watch 5 tutorials on how to do this new thing. Like that sort of thing. Like you'll just get sucked in and lost. So I set very strict deadlines on myself and take lots of breaks, changing location sometimes, standing desk versus sitting desk, all that stuff. But it is mind draining. Like it is so tiring because now you're taking all of this that you shot and wrote and everything, and you're trying to compile it so that it looks like what it looks like in your mind. And that is really difficult because you're still being creative. You still have to flex the creativity muscles, but yet now you have to put it practically. All of that coming together is like really, really, really fun. Really fun. That's one of my favorite parts of the whole thing, but it is also exhausting. So that's most of the day there. Probably I will finish the video in one day. If I don't have anything else going, I'll probably edit the entire video. And if I have time, I will shoot the thumbnails, which will take me another 4 hours, probably 3 hours.
That's to shoot and edit.
Shoot and edit, right? Like get everything done so that it is ready to post.
You're posting once a week?
Once a week. So then
Gotcha.
My editor is currently working on the other video while I'm doing this one. He's usually done by like Monday the next week. The following week, I'll do the same thing, except I'll edit my video and I'll finish editing the other video that he sent back. Because this is still Thursday. So I'm done with the video. Thumbnails are hopefully done. Friday is me finishing up those thumbnails. And if he sends me his video back, or my video that he's like done the like preliminary edits, then I'll finish that video as well. Other than that, Friday is like usually when I travel. So I usually leave Friday afternoon and go gallivanting around the US. It's pretty rare for me to not be gone. Like I'm usually gone 2 or 3 weekends a month. So I go play volleyball tournaments. I go hang out with Bible school friends. This weekend I'm going to North Carolina to be with some friends there. Go hang out with people. It's usually not just traveling for fun. It's usually like, well, I guess volleyball would be for fun. But it's not like, go sightseeing or so. It's like, I'm going to go invest in people. So I usually do that. If I don't travel, the weekend is just like my own projects. So it'll be editing for Anabaptist Perspectives. It'll be, I made a highlights reel for a group trip that I took down to Belize. So I edited a video compilation of that. I record whenever I play volleyball. So I post some highlight videos. That's a lot of fun. Editing Mindcastle, stuff like this is usually all over the weekends, or just like tons of reading, tons of hanging out with people. Like I'll have my friends over for supper. We'll go out to eat like breakfast or something like that. That's usually my weekends if I'm not traveling. So yeah, the weekends are where it's like more chill.
That's pretty neat though, because you basically at this point you're in this beautiful sweet spot where you can set your own schedule.
Yeah,
that's amazing. You're not going to have that for long if you bring a team on and stuff though.
Right.
When it's just you.
Right
like,
now, I am the team.
Yeah, exactly. Because you're starting out. It's a startup.
Yeah.
Know? Basically, it's a startup. And as it morphs, that's going to change. Yeah.
Right. Which I'm actually excited about, because then I'm not going to be the only one doing everything, you know, because then I don't have to carry the entire load. Like, yes, I can set my own schedule, but it also takes me 25, 30 hours to do a video.
Yeah.
So like you figure that in, and it's like, then you're working in like 10 hours a week at your other job. That is a full week. Like, I get to set my own schedule, but it's not like I can just like take off for a couple weeks. Like I can, but I don't like to, because that's not very good for like the YouTube stuff. But it is nice that it can fluctuate. So like if Monday I'm like, oh, like I think 4th of July was on a Sunday this last time or something. So it was like, we're hanging out with family, we're up late. Monday I was just like, it was also kind of, I think they took Monday off too or something. I forget. But anyway, we were hanging out Monday. It was a good time. So I could just bump everything back. I was just like, okay, so everything moves back one day. So Tuesday is now script writing day. Wednesday is recording. You know, this day is hauling. Like all of that stuff. So that is super duper nice.
Yeah, and especially you're not having multiple meetings every day. That's like breaking up your life, because then you don't have those blocks of time.
The only thing that really breaks it up is with scheduling mini barns. People message me, they call me like a lot. There's just like always hanging over me, like, okay, I need to respond to these people, or oh, these people are waiting on me. Oh, I forgot about that person. You know, he's waiting. So that's a little bit frustrating sometimes, but it's good to juggle that, I guess.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's kind of my week. It's kind of like really boring.
It's just normal. Like I think that's what people.
It's a lot.
People should understand,
but it's also normal. Like everybody has a lot that they do, you know, in different aspects of it. I feel like I get a lot done. I feel like I'm happy with what I get done. Like that's one thing that I try to figure out is like, what if I accomplish today will make me satisfied with today. So like at the end of the day, if I get that done, I'm like, wow, like this was a good day. Like I feel good about this day. It's full, it's busy, maybe it's not, but I got the thing done and I'm happy with my day. So like that is really, really good.
I don't have anything to add.
Okay.
I don't know.
I feel like I was way more detailed than you were, but that's totally fine. It's hard to be detailed about some of the stuff you do probably.
I don't know. I'm definitely spread all over the place, man. I there's a tremendous amount crosses my world.
You compartmentalize very well, like this thing.
Yeah, I a tremendous amount of stuff crosses my my network in a week, which is good. You know, you have to be careful with that. You'll get spread too thin. So that's some of the challenge, you know. But you keep chipping away. I think that is why though people are like, oh, you must be you're way too busy. Sorry to bother you. I hate to the worst is when people like message me and say, oh, I'm sorry, you know, to message you and bother you. I'm like, man, I mean, it's just a message. Like I don't want to. And there are days when I'm like way too busy and don't respond for 4 days, you know. But I don't want to cast this aurora that he's this guy that is just way out there somewhere you can never reach. You know? I don't like that. Like there's this. It's part of that hustle culture of like I'm super busy. You know, I don't have time for you kind of idea. And that's not good. You know, that's not healthy.
And you can be unbelievably busy
and get nothing done.
At the same time. Like you can be really, really, really strapped for time, but yet not be busy. You know what I mean? Like
someone sat down with Warren Buffett.
Oh,
the beginning of the year. It was like a new year, you know, coming on, and like, wow, Warren Buffett. You know, I think they like met one time or something, but you know, they were kind of in awe of Warren Buffett. You know, and they were like asking him, you know, how do you get so much done, and like how's it, you know, all this stuff. He's like, well, let me show you something. I'm going to show you my calendar. Oh, really? Like, wow, that's so neat. And totally true story, by the way. And he has a pen and paper calendar, like not on his phone. He likes old school. He says, here, let me show you. And he opens it up. Here's my schedule for January, because it's the beginning of the new year. There was nothing on it. Well, here, let me show you the next month. And then I'll show you the whole year. Nothing on it. There was literally nothing on his calendar. It basically said the point is that's what you need. Like you need to have that level. Like he's super busy.
Yeah.
But he intentionally doesn't put stuff in his calendar. Like he's like, you should be so busy with your craft. You don't have time to put anything else in your calendar.
Yeah.
He's just all in on what he's doing every day. And that's just what he does. He does not do anything extra. He's not going and speaking at a conference and putting in all these travel. No, he just shows up at his office and does his thing every day. And there was someone else, I don't think it was Warren Buffett, but someone in a similar vein said something to the effect that you should always aim for an uncluttered calendar, like, and yet be too busy that you can't go grab coffee. As in, not in a weird way, like, I don't want to be with you kind of way, but as in, your calendar is open, so you have those big blocks of time to work on stuff.
Yeah.
But you're still too busy, quote unquote, to like just stop your craft, basically.
Right.
Like you need to stick with that one thing. And that's actually something I started doing now is like if people want a meeting with me, absolutely, but I need to see an agenda first. You know, like it needs
100%.
to be, it needs to be structured of some kind. Like if they want to actually have a meeting, unless it's friends, you know, obviously it's different. And that those are some hard lines you kind of have to put in the sand. It's not necessarily always fun, but then again, it keeps me sane. And now I don't feel busy. Like I really don't.
And that's kind of what I'm getting at. Like,
we
maybe we get a lot of stuff done, but like busy, it is a lot of it is mindset. And like,
like boundaries.
But like, it's also like, if in your mind you're just like, oh, like I'm so busy all the time, like you're gonna be unbelievably busy no matter what you're doing.
Yeah, and it does.
Versus
and the thing is, you won't get anything more done.
Right, and so there is a mindset of like, I know how much I accomplish. Maybe it's a lot, maybe it's a little, but like I'm not gonna let myself have a busy mindset where like I'm always like doing like, and I never have time for people. Never like that's kind of what I feel like I've gotten better at the last year. Because it can be very much that way. Like my week is very, very full.
My calendar is so full. I can barely squeeze it in. You know,
all that stuff. So like I could be that way, but I also am in complete control. And like just being like understanding that, like I don't say can't anymore. I really try not to say that word. Like I can't do that today. Yes, I could. You know, like even just that small little thing, it's a choice. And just taking back the control of saying, no, I choose not to do that. Because this is a higher priority to me. That just helps me stay focused. And like, I really try to emphasize to people that busy is a choice. Like the mindset of busy
and
is
stress
a choice
too. Both of those things are choices.
Not to say make. People have lots of things in their lives. So that's very true. But when it comes down to it, everyone has the things that they're accomplishing. And to them, it feels like a lot maybe, or it doesn't really feel like a lot. Like for you, people are like, oh, I'm so sorry to bother you. Like, okay, thanks. And but like to you, clear, it's like, that's nice. But
and to be clear, I have an enormous amount going on in life.
All of us do. Like,
like that.
We could live multiple lifetimes and never get the stuff done that we want to get done.
And like, it took me a while to figure that out. But I was like, I have so much going on. Well, so does the next guy.
Yeah, and having that mindset of, I'll never get it all done. It's so much. That's not going to help you.
Yeah. Well, and someone said a brilliant thing. You know, Elon Musk is credited for just his insane work ethic, which is, okay, it's true. It's very true. They said, you know, he's not any more busy than the single mom working 3 jobs to pay the rent.
Mm-hmm. That's very true.
You know, he's not more busy than the manager at your local grocery store that's working double shifts to keep the thing afloat.
Yeah.
I promise you, those people, the manager at whatever grocery store down the street here is probably working just as hard as Elon Musk. They're probably doing just as many hours. Maybe not quite as much. It's a different kind of work, but they probably had the same feelings of stress, the same feelings of busy that really are probably just as heavy on them as they are on someone like Elon Musk. Because Elon Musk is the world's richest man. He's got the best talent in the world to make things happen. Think how much less stress that is than a guy who's battling by himself trying to make ends meet. You know, so it's all in how we frame these things.
Exactly.
You know,
I think that's the biggest thing that we want to push through with this episode is just like,
Don't lift guys like Elon Musk up to a pedestal of superhuman achievement.
Yeah.
He has achieved some amazing things,
See,
but he's not
is-
working harder
that
than
is
the
a
next
good,
guy.
That is a good differentiation,
Yeah.
though, of like we can praise people for what they accomplish and what they achieve, maybe. Yeah, like people have different levels of busyness, stress, but there is a level of work versus output that is worth noting in people like Elon Musk, and that probably
And it's worth
sets them apart.
praise the accomplishment.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
Wow. Like they launched rockets to like Mars and stuff.
Oh, that's cool.
awesome. But it's not because he's working harder than,
Yeah.
you know,
And that's my biggest
the-
pick with hustle
like-
culture.
Yeah. Like someone like Jeff Bezos. Wow. Super rich. There are people at Amazon that are working a lot harder to make Amazon happen than he ever has. You
Yeah.
know, like day in, day out, you know, that nobody knows about them. You know, the fifth guy on the totem pole of Amazon, you know, is probably working harder than Jeff Bezos is. Well, Jeff Bezos isn't part of the company anymore, so I guess that doesn't count or whatever, however that works. But anyways, yeah, that is one of the challenges with hustle culture. That hustle culture has some good points to it, but it can skew reality a little bit. So anyways,
Dude, we're almost at an hour.
whoa, really? All
Yep.
right. Well, we should go. We should get out of here. I would like to hear feedback from all of you all about, do you like these episodes in short form, or do you like them where we go a little bit longer? Let us know what you think down in the comments or wherever you can do that, or message me or something, because I'd love to hear from you. So
Yeah.
so,
What is your schedule like?
yeah. What's your schedule like? Get
On a
hold
scale
us.
of 1 to 10, how busy do you feel?
I'm at a solid 9.
I'd say I'm at like a 7. I could definitely be
No,
busier.
I don't know if it's actually a 9. I could be a lot busier. Okay, thank you all so much for listening. As Austin used to say, please share this podcast or give it a rating so that our lovely voices can get shoved into other people's ears.
Yes.
No, really though, thanks for listening, and let us know what you think. If you have ideas of what we should cover next, as always, you can find us on the internet, on our websites, austinschrock.com and my website, which is reaganschrock.com. We both have YouTube channels where we explore all kinds of fun things that we're doing about our lives that you might find intriguing. So until next time, what do we say? Till next time, learn how to solve a Rubik's Cube, because that's
There you
my
go.
latest challenge. Okay, bye.